You can then be able to cook a good soup. However, if all those ingredients are not there, then you won't have a good soup. You might have a soup. You won't have a good soup. So that is what has been happening in a lot of CVs. You have CVs, you have good CVs, you have CVs that are comply with the 21st century. So it's also important after this class that you should be able to list how to build CV. So once you know the ingredients to use in cooking your soup, then how do you get them? For you to get them, you have to go to the market. If you didn't go to the market, you won't be able to get good ones. You can send somebody to help you buy them, but will that person buy what you require? So that is the analogy I want to give for CVs and cover letter. A lot of people give their CV for people to write for them, but does that person know what you wanted? Or when you get to present that CV to employer, will you be able to defend that CV? So that is why it is important that you yourself should be able to know what is required in a 21st century compliance CV. Now let's talk about CV. What is a CV? What's a curriculum vitae? This can simply be defined as a document that tells somebody about you, about what you know, about what you can do, and about the experiences that you can share. I take that again. It's a document that tells people about you, about what you know, about what you can share, about how you can move a process forward. For instance, my name is Kabiru Abbas. I have BSc this, MSc this, this. I've worked in so place. This is what and what I do in those places that I've worked. So you need to really understand that. How do you bring in what you know into your CV? How do you bring what you can do into your CV? I have seen a lot of CVs that are just there. Somebody will just say NYSC, Mechama Primary School, 2004 to 2006. Again, he or she will not say anything. So I don't know what that person was doing in Mechama school when he or she was there. Then I'm sure that Madam Shinwe had already spoke to you about behavior competencies. What are the behavior competencies in your CV? What can you do? How did you plan? How did you solve problems? How did you negotiate issues? How did you communicate? How do you develop what you develop in that place? So those ones are called behavior competencies, and they must be seen. They must come out in your CV. How were you helping to plan a project? How are you helping? So let me pause at this level and take feedback from participants. From what I've said so far, what do you think are the issues and challenges in CV? That's a question. What do you think are the issues and challenges in CVs? Okay, very well, Mr. Amadi. Thank you. Experience. Experience. More. Okay, let's move on now. Thank you, Mr. Amadi and Paul. Thank you so much. And I will touch on the three challenges you mentioned. You mentioned experience. You mentioned how to frame the CV. How to frame your CV to measure with the job description. Now, let me give you some background information. Statistics shows that 44% of youths are not employed, and many more are not employable. Mark those words. Some are not employed, some are not employable in Nigeria. Then the existing situation for many schools in Nigeria is that we don't teach some skills, or we don't learn some skills that are required in CVs. Then many of us have limited understanding of how to build 21st century skill sets. There are what is called 21st century skill sets in CV. Many of us, just like Amadi said, may not have the experience required for 21st century compliant CV. Then there are relationships between certificate and skills. Relationship between certificates and skills. Then also relationship between knowledge and future of works. Mark that word, future of works and skills for the future. There are skills for the future and there are future of works. If you don't have those skills, no matter how you write CV, you'll be seen as somebody not employable because you don't have those skills coming out from your CV. Because when you write your CV, your employer will not see you. What they will see is your CV. It's your CV that will represent your person. It's your CV that will tell them who you are. It's your CV that will tell them. So this is why you should learn to build a good CV. So that's okay. Let's move on. Let me quickly also tell you about how to acquire the experience. This specifically, I will use this to attend to Amadi's question. You need to learn behavioral competencies. Mark my words, learn it. I'm not saying teach it. Learn and acquire it. Then how do you learn and acquire behavioral competencies? It's not something you can go and read. You can't go and read how to plan. You can't go and read how to solve problems. You can't go and read critical thinking. You have to learn those things. You have to learn how to plan. You have to learn how to solve problems. You have to learn critical thinking. And you can't go and read these things and think you understand it. There are something that, these are things that you need to learn and put it into practice. For instance, if we teach you planning now, or the elements of planning and all that, it is not enough that you understand how to plan, not until when you begin to plan. Not until when you begin to develop your daily to-do. Not until when you need to begin to plan a weekly activity, a monthly activity, and begin to practice it. The people in this meeting today, my colleagues in the meeting, AJ, Maxwell, Samson, and all of them that are there, they will tell you how much plans they put into what you are seeing today. How they were able to prepare the place, how they were able to develop the program, how they were able to put in place all the logistics. So all this requires a lot of planning processes. And if they read planning in books, if they read it in school, and they didn't put it into practice, you won't be able to see the program you are seeing today. So you need to learn a lot of these behavioral competencies. I don't want to go into that again. I'm sure that Madam Shiwe had already told you about behavioral competencies. It told you about planning, about teamwork, about problem solving, about critical thinking, about all these things. They've told you about it. But you now need to acquire them. You need to put them into practice. You need what is called hands-on. Not so that when you get to talk to people about yourself, about planning processes that you've done, you won't be quoting Abbas 2009 or Lagunju 2002. You will tell them how you did it. When they ask you, have you worked in a team before? You can't read teamwork and understand how teamwork happens until when you put it into practice. I give you an example for those of you that watch the ongoing Big Brother. You saw the first leader of the house. What do they call them? I think they call them house leader, house head or something. Head of the house. If you watch it, you would know what is called teamwork and leadership. I will leave you to your judgment whether she was able to display leadership or she was able to display teamwork. So it is important that your CV should show all those things. And if you learn behavioral competencies, you will be able to understand that. Then how do you learn behavioral competencies? You need to volunteer how to gain those soft skills and experiences. If you come to ID, for instance, to be part of our Empower program, you will learn behavioral competencies, be part of what we are doing, and you will know how to put into practice. So as you do that, you are improving your CV. Then the next one is to put your soft skills and BC into practice. When you learn all those 12, 13 behavioral competencies, you can then learn how to put into practice. For instance, how do you negotiate? How do you solve problems? How do you do teamwork? Then you will now, the next one is for you to now engage in some activities, whether this type of project, whether another type of project in the field or elsewhere. Then another one is mentoring and coaching. We will then begin to coach you and mentor you. And all these things can flow into your CV. So this is how you can gain experience and also be able to build your CV. Then let me come to a question from Paul. Now, there's what in CV development, there's what is called alignment. Mark that word, alignment. How do you align your CV to what your employers are asking? For instance, some of you, when they say, oh, this job is out, please send CV, you will go and send a CV you prepared 2 years ago. You are just joking, you are wasting your time. They will trash such CV. So you have to look at the description, the job description. They say the person should have got 2-3 years. The person should have planned in this office. The person should be conversant with how to negotiate. The person should be this. It's called person specification in CV, in job description, person specification. So how do you align your CV to the person specification for that job? So that your CV is in line with what they are asking. Alignment is in line with it. So you will learn how to do that. There are many things for us to say, but I have limited time, and I'm sure that we will continue this conversation. Let me quickly talk about cover letter in my 2 minutes. Cover letter, as the name implies, is a cover letter. It's a summary of your behavior competencies. Cover letter is a summary of your behavior competencies. Cover letter should not repeat your CV. Some people say, I'm this, I'm that, I have BSc, I have PhD, I have this. No. Cover letter should just tell us your highest level of qualification and should tell us what you can do. Should tell us how you have used these BCs, how you have planned, how you have demonstrated negotiation. For instance, let me give you a short cover letter of myself. My name is Kabiru Abbas. I have a BSc in Poverty Reduction and Development Management. When I was working with ID, I gained planning skills, which I use in planning my to-do, planning my feed activities, planning this, planning that. Working for another organization called WaterAid, I've been able to learn how to negotiate and how to work in a team. I work in about 5 different teams. In line with what you requested as a project officer, my experiences that I gain in these places, as included in my CV attached, will tell you more, help you to achieve the objectives of ID in Nigeria if I'm given the opportunity. Thank you. Just a page. So it's not a document for you to be repeating your CV, everything you've said in your CV. It's a document to introduce you, your highest level of qualification, and your BCs, and how you have demonstrated BC in previous places, and telling them you are bringing that to the organization where you want to work. So basically, that's my introduction of CVs and cover letter. We are very open. If you need more trainings on this, I'm sure that ID will tell you how we do that through our Empower program and through other programs. And for those of you who want to volunteer and gain this experience, remember I told you how to these 21st century skills in your CV. You need to learn behavior competencies. You need to volunteer to gain experiences. You need to put your soft skills and BC into practice. You need to engage in field activities. You need some mentoring and coaching. So if you can be part of this, I'm sure that your CV will look better. Don't go and pay people to write CV for you. It's not going to work. You need to acquire the training and the experiences that you can use to build your CV and align your CV to job description by employers. Alignment is another big area that we can talk more about. Please put questions in the chat box. Put all your questions there. Let's continue the interaction. I learned that my time is up. Thank you so much. You know where these people's offices plan. Not how what. Hello?
The people from the smart center are no more online.
Eh?
The people from the smart center are no more online. So I don't know, maybe they
Okay,
left.
they're not online. Okay, that's fine. How did you see then?
Okay, we have just a minute to go. Okay.
And I did because I didn't see question.
Huh?
I didn't see any question from them again.
I don't know whether they are facing network challenge. Maybe they want to, maybe they are reconnecting or whatever. Oh, I will connect them. I will contact them. So if I'm to reconnect again, I will let you know.
Okay.